Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture of strategic prioritization using the Eisenhower Matrix. Have you ever, this matrix is an important in our busy daily life, like we completely exhausted at realize that we have not complete the important work. So most of all the people we have that experience, we doesn't know how to prioritize the thing, and we think that we are doing all the works. At the end of the day, we feel exhausted. Okay, this work has been not completed. So if your answer is yes, you are in not alone. So many of us spend a lot our day so hectic responding to emails, attending meetings, handling urgent requests, and solving the unexpected problems. But we stay busy from morning until evening. But the busy doesn't mean that we all always work in the productivity way. The biggest challenges today is not a lack of time. We all have the same 24 hours. The real challenge is like how what we deserve our attention and what does not. It exactly what we will explore today. So in this session, you will learn a simple yet powerful framework called Eisenhower Matrix, the decision-making tool, which is used for everyone, for everyone we can do. It is not only for the business leader, entrepreneur, project managers. So even every leaders or every people also can use this like to prioritize their task effectively. By end of this session, we can able to distinguish like what is an urgent work and what from the important one, and how to reduce the unnecessary stress and improve the productivity and focus and energy. So let's begin with an understanding where the framework came and why it is, has been refined for the decades. The Hey, Eisenhower matrix is named after Dwight Eisenhower, who served as an like supreme allied commander during the World War II, and he was later he become a president, U.S. president. Imagine like leading as a commander a military operation involving thousands of soldiers simultaneously making them to decision, making any decision it may affect the entire country, right? Even Acer also feel the Einstein also feel the same situation, like facing the hundreds of works in and competing prioritize, and he quickly realized that treating every work is not equally important and it is impossible. So during his leadership, he remarkably found an observation, and later he slowly becoming one of the most productive and principal in his history. What he said is like, what is important is not an seldom urgent. What is important is not an urgent, and what is an urgent is not an important. So seldom important. So that phrase is something like what is important is seldom urgent, and what is important urgent is seldom important. At first, the statement looks like so confusing, but think about it like imagine we have a car. So you have a car, and we work on the way. We use that for an office every day. Suddenly, imagine that it is breakdown in an halfway, and that what we have to do, we need an immediate urgent because it has to be immediate attention. But if you had done the regular service of your car, perhaps this breakdown can be avoided, right? So the preventive maintenance or most important thing, but it is not urgent, but we have to complete it. The same situation it is also. So I'll explain. But let's take another example like preventive maintenance is like uh, for example, let's take in health. So we most people don't do exercise due to our busy schedule, and we think that we will do it when we have the health issue, like learning new skills, planning finance, or spending time with the family. Often we do postpone this type of physical health issues, right? I mean healthy activities, but nothing demand until we faces any issues of immediate action today. Hazen successfully realized that people spend less time in reacting to the emergency and more time into the preventing them. This simple distinct, like like we have to do the whatever the things have to the preventive maintenance to be done, prioritized to avoid the emergency situation. Same thing was an Aizen was also done in his work. So this simple distinction become a foundation for the matrix. And so let's see the matrix. So SN matrix is an beautifully simple. It has a two question. What is the urgent task and what is the important task? So urgent task requires immediate action, attention. They often comes with a deadline, alarms and consequence if delayed. So the second question, it is an task is important. The important task is like contributing for the long term goal, personal growth and career success and an organizational objective. So when these two questions are intersecting, they create the four different categories of the work. Think of this map which help us to organize everything what we need. Every email, every assignment, every meeting, every project or every request which is that we can place all in this four quadrant. Instead of making what should I do next, we begin with better question of which quadrant does it works for which task, and and which quadrant will be effectively for this task or not. This small shift can completely change the way we manage our time. So the rather than reacting emotionally to every notification, we start intentionally decision like based on the impact of rather than the urgency. So we have to see what is the impact of not doing it, what it is impact if we do it. So we'll examine each quadrant in detail. The first quadrant is of the task on that are not both urgent and important. I mean, sorry, it is an urgent and important. These are the tasks which is highly needed immediate action, but because the delaying may feel severe consequences like critical project deadlines, server crash, customer emergency, medical situations. All this has to be done immediately, which cannot be ignored. However, the hidden changes is some people spend almost their entire life in operating in this quadrant. Every day feels like crisis. Every task is an emergency. Uh, Over time, this constant pressure may become the stress they be in which they burn out and they do the poor decision making and reduce the creativity. Think of the student like who studies only in the night before every exam. Studying before the exam day will not give him the effective results. Or a company that fixes the equipment only after it fails. This solution is not is this is not isn't it become and is not become and better to handle the emergency. The solution is reduce the solution is we have to reduce the number of emergency. So that brings us the most important valuable quadrant in the entire matrix. So further quadrants will discuss in the next lecture. Thanks for watching. Remaining quadrant will discuss in the lecture coming series. Thank you.